It's good to be back with you all for Margie's Minute. I hope you all are well and are busy booking both short-term and long-term meetings for all of your hotels with our new guidelines. It's great to finally be stepping into our next norm, knowing the pandemic restrictions are slowly and finally going away. We have been busy with sites over the last several months. Our team of one, Rob Anaya, has been conducting in-person, virtual, and even hybrid sites. Many of you have asked for suggestions on how to improve your own virtual site visits, so Rob has developed a series of 4 videos of his own best practices of what he has learned for your reference. As you bring back former or new sales associates, we know that these will be helpful to remind your team of the enormous importance of each and every element of the site experience, whether with our team or on your own, and either in person or virtual. Competition is going to be even more fierce over the next year. We will be competing with all cities, big or small, for the foreseeable future as we all rebuild our group base after COVID. Now more than ever, our opportunity to win business with a well-thought-out and executed site program is even more important. These 4 videos will cover how to prepare your team for a virtual site visit, how to execute your plan, how to pre-record a customized visit, and finally, how to create that wow that San Diego is known for in a virtual world. These videos will be posted on our SDTA Connect YouTube page. But before I introduce Rob, I want you to know that our producer, videographer, copywriter, editor, and sound man for these videos is no other than our man of many talents, Rob Anaya. I told you he's been busy. So without further ado, here's Rob and his tips and tricks for a successful virtual site. Be well, everyone, and I can't wait to see you all in person very soon. Here's Rob.
Thank you, Margie, and hello everyone. This year has brought us many changes, and we've all had to adopt some new ways of doing things. That includes our site visits. We've gone from doing the in-person site visits that we all know and love to now having to do our site visits virtually. And since we're all pretty much sales-minded, the idea of learning new technology techniques can be kind of intimidating. I've had my fair share of trial and errors, seeing what works and what doesn't work. But so far, our virtual site visits have been very successful in execution and in booking programs into San Diego. So with that said, I'd love to share some of my tips and tricks that I've learned along the way that maybe can help you. Because one thing that has not changed is that in San Diego, we do exceptional site visits in any form. This will be one of several videos that I'll be posting about virtual site visits. In this first segment, I'm going to focus on how to best prepare yourself. One thing that I've learned is that a virtual site visit takes just as much preparing and planning as an in-person site visit. Don't take it lightly and don't try to wing it. The more you prepare, the better the execution and end results for you and for the client. And it all starts with a conversation with the client. You'll want to explain the process and steps of the virtual site. Discuss with the client what their expectations are, what's important for the client to see, and what's going to add value to the site for the client. Now, on the other hand, what's not necessary. In the short amount of time that you have, we don't want to waste any time or effort showcasing parts of the hotel that the client just doesn't need to see. And this can go from everything from guest room types to food and beverage outlets, on-site activities and amenities, and even the breakout and office spaces. Talk to the client and find out what those priorities are. Materials for clients. Ensure that the client has all the updated proposals, diagrams, and any other necessary materials. A color-coded diagram of the offered space and a property map will be very useful for your client to help follow along during the virtual site. Select a virtual platform. There are many platforms offered, including Microsoft Teams, GoTo, Zoom. I personally like to use Microsoft Teams. But be familiar and comfortable using this platform. Practice using it on a computer as well as a cell phone to really understand all of its capabilities. Then discuss and share the platform with the client, as well as any team members that may be on the call. We want to ensure that the team members also are comfortable using this platform. Engage other team members. Give them a role and prepare them for the virtual site. With leadership, let's encourage them to do more than just welcome the client, but add additional value by sharing some of their favorite things about the property or of San Diego, or maybe a brief but fun story. We definitely want to stay focused on the positive. So let's speak of other things besides COVID and how different our lives are these days. And please avoid saying, I'm sorry we have to do this virtually. Instead, let's focus on this awesome opportunity that we do have with the client. And if you're able to bring in other team members like AV, culinary, events, fantastic. That's just going to add additional value. So you want to give them a topic to speak of, background information on the client, and then a specific time and place to be. There's something about the back and forth between the additional team members and the sales manager that's very refreshing for the client and then can add some additional insight into the hotel and event. Have a virtual site buddy. Have at least one buddy to help with your virtual site and be clear on what the expectations and needs are of them. A site buddy can do one of many things. They can be on the call to share photos, videos, diagrams with the client while you're in front of the camera. They can be on the call to carry on the conversation in case the site pauses, like if you lose connectivity or if you're getting onto an elevator. They can be behind the scenes to help with the flow of the site by opening doors and turning on lights as needed. Or your site buddy can be on the call and stationed in a different part of the property, let's say the guest room. So when you're ready to show the guest room to the client, your buddy's already there and can showcase from his or her camera. This helps to cut down on any wasted time from you walking between spaces or getting onto elevators. Flow of the site. You'll want to create the most efficient flow for your virtual site. Then do a test run. Walk the meeting space and parts of the property that you plan to showcase ahead of time to make sure that that flow makes sense. Then right before the site, you'll want to check for the cleanliness of the guest rooms and the meeting space. You'll want to open doors, turn on lights, and turn down the music if you can. Also, check for the elements, wind, rain, and anything else that could cause a disturbance. Figure out how you're going to navigate around those things during the virtual site. You'll want to ensure that you have a connection to the most dependable Wi-Fi or plan to use your own data. Then walk the property and check that connectivity and find any trouble spots. Before I do a virtual site, I go to the property a day ahead of time, going to different spots around the property to check my connectivity. You'll also want to practice with the platform that you'll be using. Use those functions, all of the functions, to make sure that you're comfortable in case anything happens during the actual site. For example, if you are on the call with the client and you lose connectivity and get kicked off the call, know how to jump back on as quickly as possible. If you're prepared, it's no problem because it does happen. And fortunately, you'll have that virtual site buddy on the call with your client to carry on the conversation. You'll also want to alert all hotel staff of the time of the virtual site so that they can help control any conversations or background noise. Well, I hope you found these tips and tricks helpful for your own virtual site visits. On our next segment, let's talk about how to actually execute one of these live virtual site visits. You can find this video and others on our SDTA Connect YouTube page. Thank you.